Yes, welcome to the Biz Communication Show. I'm your host, Bill Lampton, once again hosting a guest who's an expert in business communication. And as you and I listen to the conversation, and believe me, I listen as well, as we listen to the conversation, we will pick up tips and strategies that will boost our business. So welcome to those of you on YouTube and on the podcast as well. Our esteemed guest today is Scott Williford, based in the greater Atlanta metropolitan area, Marietta, Georgia. Scott is a serial entrepreneur, consultant, writer, and speaker who is passionate about helping others succeed in whatever they're called to. As founder and CEO of V-Link Solutions, Scott helps businesses and professionals use the power of video to enhance their online brand. V-Link Solutions is a widely acclaimed video marketing authority. And not only does the company create all types of video, they also help manage and distribute them. And well beyond that, as we'll discuss, beyond that service, his company has taken virtual meetings to a new level. So join me on the Biz Communication Show now and welcoming Scott Williford. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Bill, pleasure to be here. And thank you for having me once again. It's been a few years.
Yes, it's been a while. And my gosh, we could talk for a month about everything that has gone on with you since then. And in fact, I'll have to say very candidly, that's one of the factors that I admire the most about you professionally. And that is, if somebody hasn't been with you in even a few months, there's going to be something new that's going on. Let's talk first. I want to get to the new part quite soon, but let's talk first about the fact that you help companies, corporations, businesses produce videos that will help them spread their brand, identify their brand, increase their customer base. And as I remember, you've gotten to the point where V-Link Solutions is producing somewhere around 3,000, 5,000 videos a year for companies. Tell us about that, please.
It's not quite that many, Bill, but we do produce a lot. I think in 2021, we were somewhere between 1,750 to 2,000 videos in 2021. We have two studios, one in Alpharetta, one in Marietta. We shoot on location. We shoot, I was talking to somebody earlier today about a shoot for a golf tournament. We do a little bit of everything. Our clients are companies, most of our clients are companies that sell to other businesses. So in that B2B arena, and we help them create all types of video content to create thought leadership, to create brand awareness. And every video is a little different, but the whole goal is to engage and help our clients engage with their audience. So I'm noticing out of the corner of my eye, my background is a virtual background. We're actually shooting with a new toy that we got literally yesterday. And I'm noticing there's about a 1 minute loop and the background goes black for 2 frames and comes back. We're going to fix that the next time we do this. But just so you know, I noticed that. But, you know, we do all types of thought leadership, marketing videos, brand awareness videos, training videos, internal communications videos. We really try to become partners with our clients and become their video departments. So when we're working for large brands, we're their go-to shop, and we're looking for small brands, we want to be their go-to shop as well. So,
well, one of the things I noticed in another interview that I saw, and you not only do a good number of interviews, I saw where you were quoted in publications twice in the same week. I noticed that on your LinkedIn profile. But one of the things I noticed in an interview where you again were the guest, where you talked about the fact that when you first started looking at video production, there were several factors that you wanted to change. And one of them was the enormous amount of time it took to produce one. And then also for a 1, 2, or 3 minute video, the client at that time was paying possibly $3,000 to $5,000 for a 3-minute video. And so I heard you on a number of occasions talk about becoming a company that could simplify the process and also could become more cost effective, right?
Correct. So we operate under an hour worked, an hour paid model, which means that if we can produce the video, or usually most of our clients were doing packages of videos, so it's not just one, it's multiple videos, then by doing it efficiently, we can shoot 3, 4, 5, 6, 24 videos in 1 or 2 sittings, and then produce a high quality finished product where really the effort into it is all X number of hours. And so because we're doing X number of hours, the fee's the same versus a cost per video. So our average client probably spends, $750 to maybe $1,200 per video. Now that's not to say, Bill, I don't mean to discount the fact that some of our clients and some of the projects that we're the proudest of are $10,000, $15,000 videos. So while we do a lot of that very cost effective video content, if we have a client that wants to do a high-end showcase video that takes 2 days of shooting and 40 hours of post-production, because we're an hour worked, an hour paid model, they just pay more. And we try to keep the production value as high as our client's budget will allow. And so it is a different model. It is a different way of thinking, perhaps, though we started this in 2010, 2011, and there's some other people that are doing it the same way now. We're not the only ones in town that do it this way, but we've got some really good brands, some really good clients that we have become their video departments, and we produce a lot of video for them using a lean video production process.
And you work down. At least nationally. Do you have any international clients, or is everything within the U.S.?
So the bulk of our clients are somehow associated with Metro Atlanta. We do have a few outliers. We have a client that we are doing some work for that is based out of Raleigh. We have another client that we're doing some work for that is based out of Denver. And we've met them through networking or met them through some of the events that we've been a part of. And they liked what we did. They liked the way that we did it, and they wanted us to be part of their needs, filling their needs. The one thing that we have done a couple of things international. They've all been live streams. We haven't traveled international to shoot. We've got a shoot scheduled for June, where we're going to go to Idaho for a couple of days, and then we're going to go to San Jose, California for a couple of days. It's a pretty big, it's a company that is in the farming, specifically dairy farms, and we're going to go visit some cows and video some cows.
Very interesting difference from Marietta, Georgia. Very interesting.
You're right. All we do with cows around here is we do cow tipping.
Yes.
If y'all don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it.
I do know. I do know. Okay. Let's talk now about what you have done. And you mentioned the word live stream a couple of minutes ago. And all of us know that a couple of years ago, all of a sudden there was a nosedive as far as conferences, conventions, trade shows, the kinds of gatherings where people were person to person. And so fortunately, there were companies like yours who knew ways that we could get together. And yet, Scott, from what I've learned, you've gone far beyond just the virtual meeting as most people know it. Many of us, when we think of virtual meeting, we think of, okay, Scott's here and he's got a dozen to 15 people that he's holding a conference session with or instructing or whatever. But talk to us, please, about the much larger scope that Livestream has become for your clients, so that really, in essence, people get the full sense of really participating in a meeting, even though they're still at their computer or iPhone or whatever. Well, tell us about that, please.
So I'm going to back up. So prior to the pandemic, VLink had been doing virtual and live streaming, mostly live streaming for corporate town halls. We were live streaming some stages at a conference. We might have done some higher end webinars for clients. Our first live stream was all the way back in 2013. So we've been doing this for a while. I would say in 2019, so right the year before the pandemic, we probably live streamed, I'm going to say 120, maybe 130 hours of content. Enter the pandemic, everybody was sent home. One of our first projects that started shortly after the lockdowns were hitting the country, or the world for that matter, was taking a client's webinar and elevating its production value. We used WebEx. And when I say elevate it, so right now you and I have a single camera, and you're on I don't know what kind of camera you're on. I think I'm on one of our Sony cameras. And so what we did is we took this webinar in the same studio that I'm in right now. We put a set behind them, and then we were able to shoot it with multiple cameras. They had props, and it was just a higher level production than your typical, let me share my screen and show the little box in the bottom of the corner. That was early 2020. We were approached by some of the larger membership-based organizations, and they said, look, we need help continuing to do our conferences. And they started looking at various virtual event platforms, and they asked me to review them. So in the reviewing of those platforms, I was like, there is a premium that these companies have put on their platforms that, quite honestly, I thought was unrealistic and unfair. That they really didn't help with the production value, the production quality as we were able to do. And they weren't meeting all of the needs of virtual attendees. So VLink launched in middle of 2020. Actually, it was probably mid-April of 2020 when we did our first event, which means we moved pretty quickly. It took about 60 days to get to market, 45 to 60 days to get to market.
That was pretty intense, I'm sure, that preparation.
Oh, yeah. We call it VLink Events. So vlinkevents.com. And it is a complete virtual venue. So when folks come to an event on VLink Events, they go into a custom branded lobby that looks like a lobby in a hotel. Once they register at the registration desk, they're able to navigate to the main stage, or navigate to one of the breakout rooms, or navigate to the networking area, or even navigate to a virtual exhibit hall. And once we launched that, to be transparent, a lot of my relationships, specifically with organizations like Women in Technology or Atlanta Technology Professionals, NACD, National Association of Corporate Directors, they began to come to us and say, we want to use your platform. In 2020, we probably hosted about 50 events. They ranged in being just 1 hour live stream, some networking fundraisers, all the way to multi-day conferences. And in 2021, I think we did about 80 or 85, and it's become about 35 or 40% of our revenue. We believe it's not just the platform, it's also the production value that we bring to the table. The platform gives attendees a feeling that they're somewhere. They are allowed to chat with one another. They're allowed to jump into Zoom meetings with one another.
All the things that they could do in a smaller Zoom meeting.
Yes. So the way that I describe it is, if you're at a big event, let's say that we both in Metro Atlanta, let's say we went to an event at the Cobb Galleria. And the Cobb Galleria has an exhibit hall, they have a ballroom, and then they have a lot of little breakout rooms. Well, if we went into the ballroom, when there was content going on, there'd be a stage and we'd watch that. So we're really consuming content. That's one to many. So everybody sitting in the audience is just watching. When I go to a breakout room or to the exhibit hall, I'm now integrating maybe many to many or a few to a few conversations. And so we try to build the platform in a way to accommodate one to many to many, and few to a few, and even one-to-one conversations, all using webcams or Zoom or a built-in chat tool. And then when we live stream, we actually, which is the one-to-many, we're using a best of breed. We're a licensee of Vimeo's products. And so we live stream using Vimeo, and we're streaming at full HD. We can even go up to full 4K if we wanted to. It's just a matter of the need of the audience and bandwidth. Enter 2022, well, actually even in 2021, as things begin to reopen, we've kind of morphed that capability to doing hybrid events where we're live streaming from a venue with a live audience, but at the same time, there's a remote audience. We have a big event coming up the first week of June, which is going to have about 50,000 people descending on a conference center in Vegas. And yet there'll be another 4 or 5 or 10,000 that will be watching the content remotely at their homes.
And 2.5 years ago, we thought that would be a long time coming. It's good that it's coming. The final comment I would make on this, Scott, before we have to conclude, is that I'm assuming that with all of the reality that a person feels when they do this, I'm assuming they don't have to have any special equipment than they would have just on a regular Zoom call, right?
Yeah, so our platform is built, it's browser based. And then if you jump into a networking session, we give the client the option, but most of our clients do use Zoom. So if you've got Zoom, you're set up to be able to do the interaction. Using your browser, you're able to watch the higher end content through your browser.
Well, I congratulate you because, as I said, and the years that I've known you, it's a month by month progress, and in this case, I'd say a revolution, not just progress. So I know, Scott, that our viewers on YouTube and our listeners on the podcast would like to talk to you farther. So give us, please, your contact information.
Sure, absolutely. So Scott Williford, SWILLIFORD, S Williford at vlinksolutions.com, or you can call my cell phone, 404-229-7669. Bill, before you sign off, I just want to tell your listeners and your audience, wherever they may be, is that if you're not doing video yet, you should be. And if you need some help just brainstorming of how to do that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. we're happy to, advice is, it's going to be worth what you pay for it, but I'm happy to share some learnings any way I can, just as I have over the years with Bill.
Yes, you have. And I'm looking forward to always learning more from you. And I will underscore 1,000 times what you said about video. I remember very well when I started as an entrepreneur about 25 years ago, we had to be capable in print. And then all of a sudden we had to be skilled in audio. And then today, if you don't have a video presence, you and your company are missing out. And so coming to an expert like Scott Williford is the best investment you will make along those lines.
Thank you for those kind words.
Thank you so much, Scott, for being with us and talking about V-Link solutions. This is all very exciting. And now that you've given your contact information, I will give mine. Bill Lampton, the biz communication guy. And so logically, my website is bizcommunicationguy.com. I invite you to go there, check my services for corporations and leaders. Give me a call. I'll be able to talk with you, be glad to talk with you about your communication challenges and how I can assist you with them. Thanks to all of you who joined us on YouTube and also on the podcast. Be with us again next week on another edition of the Biz Communication Show. I'm your host, Bill Lampton, the Biz Communication Guy.